On the booze, and this is week 2 discussion on what is the best way to address our problem of such diverse learners. What I feel is ability groups is sometimes great because it does allow students to work at a pace without feeling like they have to be held back. However, I do feel like, from my experience, putting all the same level students in the same group, they tend to lack empathy for other students who may not be as advanced as they are. For example, I grew up in honor classes. I was always in honors classes, and I would notice, a certain group of friends that would always put the students in special education down. And then I remember dating a guy, and I found out that he was in special education, and I almost was going to break up with him because of my peers and what they thought about it. And then I had to realize, look, this is a good person. There's various reasons as to why he could be in special education. So I do feel like having diverse classrooms allows students to gain empathy for each other and also learn to help each other and feed off each other. And just because you may be at a higher level does not mean you can't learn from a student who has, needs or at a lower level. For example, there was a student in one of my classes named Michael. Still remember Michael. And he was in special education, and he was mainstreamed. And he came up with this amazing saying about the reason as to why you cannot divide two fractions. So Michael would say, you can't divide division. And since then, I said, Michael, can I use that? So even Michael taught me a saying to help me teach and educate students. And to this day, I'm like, as my student Michael would say, you can't divide division. So you can learn from students who may be at a lower level. And so that's why it's so important to have diversity within classrooms so students can gain empathy for each other and also patience. But also it is the teacher's job to differentiate. So I remember one year I had a class where I had some students that were literally probably supposed to be in GATE. They probably had a bad testing day or something. And then I had students that were grade level and then students that needed accommodations. And it was very frustrating at first because I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to make sure that my students who are advanced don't get frustrated and my students that have accommodations don't feel left behind? So I just started to take my lesson and tweak it to accommodate the 3 different groups that I had in the classroom. For example, for the advanced group, I would ask them how they can take it to the next step, So I would say, okay, you understand this concept. So what if I asked you to, multiply with 2 fractions? How would that come out? Or the students who needed accommodations, I would scaffold their questions and give them more time to do the work. And I noticed our classroom environment became this compassionate, caring environment where the students who were advanced, they knew what students needed more support, but they sort of just would take them under their wing and help assist them when they were put into groups. And of course, building that classroom culture of a safe environment, of a caring, respectful environment, that comes with time, with just doing activities as a class. And they get to see, even though they may be different levels, they still have things in common, So yeah, I believe that I agree with the kindergarten teacher who said that diversity is very important. Because it just really just creates this diverse environment where kids have this empathy for each other, and they can learn to tolerate each other and other people different from them at different levels of understanding than them. And that's it.